Create an awesome YouTube thumbnail to generate more views on your videos in 5 easy steps using Photoshop and AI. Step 1. Taking photos. Go somewhere where the background is white or a neutral color. This will make it easy to cut yourself out of the photo in Photoshop. Make sure the lighting in this area is good. If you don't have any fancy equipment, that's okay. Using the natural light from something like a window is always a great option. Ensure that the camera is at eye level. This will give you the best photos. Notice here that I'm wearing a neutral color t-shirt. Choose from white, gray, tan, or black to keep it simple. Now you're ready to take your photos. I want you to take 3 of them. One where you're smiling, the second I want you to look surprised, and the third I want you to look like you're thinking. And don't worry if you don't know which one to choose, go ahead and use the one where you look surprised. This has had the best results for me personally, and you see this technique used by a lot of other creators. Now you're done taking your photos. Go ahead and upload them to your computer. If you're not super tech savvy, just email them to yourself and go ahead and download them on your computer through that email. Step 2, selecting a color scheme, font style, and text. If you guys don't know what to select, go into ChatGPT and say create color scheme and font style recommendation for whatever your video is going to be about. I already have these 2 things set up and ready to go, but this will help you guys choose. Next, we need to select some text that is actually going to go into our thumbnail. And today, I'm just going to be creating the thumbnail for this video. And all I asked was thumbnail text that will help get views for video about creating YouTube thumbnails that will help get views. 2 to 3 words and make a recommendation. Below, you guys can see it recommended thumbnail secrets, but I actually liked get more views better because that's more along the lines of the point I'm trying to get across. Now we have our color scheme, font styling, and text ready to go. Step 3, designing in Photoshop. Here in Photoshop, we'll create a new file, and this needs to be 1280 pixels wide by 720 pixels tall, because that's the standard size for a YouTube thumbnail. I'll title this the thumbnail, and then make sure the RGB color is selected and create this new file. Here, we'll select the rectangle tool, drag a rectangle that encompasses the entire canvas, and like I said, I already have a color scheme set up, so I'll change the fill color to this blue here, and then I want to create another rectangle. And what I'm going to do here is just turn this one a little bit, change the fill color to black, and then create a basic split effect with these 2 rectangles just like so. Now I'll create another rectangle right here like that, and I want the fill to be white. I'll select the type tool, and I want to use get more views. So at the top I'll say get more. Need to change this color to white. Confirm that change, select the move tool, and then I can just resize this freely, and I'll just go ahead and center it like so. Then I'll hold Alt, drag this text down, select it, change the color to black, and then I want to go ahead and change this to views. And in the top text, I don't want this to also be italic. I want this to just be bold. I want my main text to be the italic font right here because it draws a little bit more attention to the main purpose of this video. And I'm also going to make that text larger as well to help out with that. Now I'm going to select the rectangle and the text, align it vertically and horizontally like so. And I want this rectangle to be just a little bit bigger, so I'll drag it down, confirm that, and then again align horizontally. So now you guys can see our text on our thumbnail. What I want to do now is open that image that I took of myself earlier on my computer. So I'll just select it in the downloads like this, and this process is really easy. We want to click select subject, and since we took this in front of a white wall here, you're going to see Photoshop does a really good job of selecting just me, and you guys can see just how good of a job that did. Now we want to hold Control-Shift-I to invert the selection, go into layers, unlock our layer, and then click delete or backspace to get rid of what we don't want. Control D is Control deselect. Now we'll click image, trim, and we want to trim all the transparent pixels just like that to get rid of all that extra spacing we don't need. Next, we'll select an adjustment layer down here in the bottom right of brightness and contrast. We're going to crank up the brightness just a little bit, contrast just a little bit. It's important not to overdo this. Go back into layers, add another adjustment layer. This one's going to be hue saturation. I'm going to go ahead and crank that up just to 10. That looks like enough to me. Then I'll go back into layers, select this top one, hold shift, select the bottom one, right click, merge layers, and now we have one concise layer that we can click, hold, and drag into our actual thumbnail file. And we'll just shrink this down just a little bit. Actually, that was too much. Size it up a little bit again. And then I'll turn myself a little bit so it looks like I'm looking at the get more views text. And then I'll right click myself in the layers panel, blending options, outer glow, just to add a slight outer glow like that. Now we want to have a YouTube and a Photoshop logo here. So what I'll do is go into my browser, simply look for YouTube logo, go to images, and make sure you guys select a high enough quality here, because if not, it's going to make your thumbnail look really ugly. We'll right click this one, open image, and then I'm just going to use the snipping tool to select this one. Just like this. Then I will save this to my computer, and I'll just put it in downloads for now. Then I'm going to do that same process, but now for the Photoshop logo. Now that we have our logos, we'll go back into Photoshop, File, Open, and I'll select both of these and just open them up. Now we can go into our quick selection tool. If you don't have this one selected, hold it, select quick selection tool, and then we just want to select all of this stuff that we don't need and just backspace or delete, Control D to deselect, and then image, trim, transparent pixels. And now we can just drag this right into our thumbnail file right in here. Then I'll go through the same process, but for the Photoshop logo. Then I want these logos to be the same size down at the bottom, so I'll place them next to each other and just use Photoshop's built-in functionality to make them the same size. Slide this one over just a little bit, and what I'll do is right click this one in the layers panel, blending options, just add that outer glow again. And then what I want to do is right click this, copy layers style, then go to the Photoshop logo, right click, paste layer style, and now they both have that subtle white outer glow. Now I just need to make sure that all of this is spaced apart correctly. So I'll just move this up just a little bit. What I'll do is select both of these, right click, and just merge the layers together so I can work with it a little bit easier and just center everything up. Now you guys can see everything set up and ready to go, but I'm actually going to make this rectangle just a little bit bigger in the back so I can move this text over just a little bit. So I'll go ahead and select all of this and then just use the right arrow key to move it out a little bit, and that looks a little bit cleaner. Now I also moved it up just a little bit. Now you guys can see our final product. Step 4, exporting. In Photoshop, we're done designing our thumbnail, so we can click File, Export, Quick Export as PNG, and I'll leave the file name as thumbnail and just save it as a download. Step 5, AI review. In ChatGPT, we're going to ask it to evaluate our thumbnail here, and we can just upload it from our computer like so. And what this is going to do is give us a bunch of feedback on what we did well, and then it will also give us room for improvement. So down here at the bottom, you can see it gives us what could be improved. A lot of the times I use information from this section to further improve my thumbnail, but I'm personally happy with the one that I created already. Now I'm ready to upload a video on YouTube and use my newly created thumbnail file. If you run into any problems or have any questions, reach out to me below through the comments. Thanks for watching.